You are in for a treat today. My guest on The Real Bottom Line is Monica Buzhanov, and she is coming into us from Sweden. Her story is amazing. I can't wait to share it with you, and we're going to dig deep into the inside game around money and your success.
This is The Real Bottom Line, where we tell entrepreneurial stories about true grit and perseverance from frontline business owners themselves. Now, let's get started.
Welcome, Monica.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh my gosh, yes. Now, I always like to start out. Tell me how you ended up working for yourself. Like, what's your journey to where you are now? I don't need all the details, but give me some highlights.
Yeah. So I never set out to be an entrepreneur. But I had, when I was 30, I had what my mom still refers to as Monica's big breakdown.
Oh, I see. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. And I thought I was going crazy.
What was Monica's big breakdown?
I was burned out and depressed.
Yes.
Yeah. So when I was diagnosed, burnt out and depressed, on the inside, I was going, yay, I can fix that. Right? Mm-hmm. Being like crazy, which I thought I was going like, woohoo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was scary. So when the doctor said, no, you're not crazy, you're just burnt out and depressed, that was okay. I can deal with that. And the good thing about being like in 1,000 pieces on the floor is that you can reassemble those pieces, right?
Did you want to reassemble them in the exact same image as before, or were you looking to make some changes?
That's where my mom comes in again, right? No one like can trigger you as the people closest to you, right? And I remember she looked at me and she had this sadness in her eyes and she said, oh, Monica, you'll never be the same again. And on the inside, I was going, of course, I'll never be the same again. That would be stupid, right?
Yeah.
Because then I would do the same things to myself again.
Yeah.
So I realized there's something that's off. There's something that needs to be fixed. I don't know what it is, but let's go figure this one out because, the whole, like, it's all figure outable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I knew there was an answer. I just had to figure it out.
Were you in the corporate world before Monica's big event happened?
Yeah. I I was an employee, regular employee, right? And I hadn't really done anything huge in my life. There was no reason why I should be burnt out. It didn't make sense. So in retrospect, I see I was using my energy the wrong way. I was trying to be the team player and I was trying to be the achiever. And I'm none of those. I'm really I can team play like nobody's business for 2 hours and then I'm exhausted. It's not
so
who I am.
Are you an introvert or an extrovert or an ambivert?
That's the horrible thing. I'm both at the same time. Which felt so crazy until I understood why, because they support each other, right?
Oh, okay.
So I love being on a stage. Give me a stage. I'll make the audience laugh. I'll make them cry. And then afterwards, I just want to give me a cave and some books. And please don't make me have anything to do with people. Right. So those opposites, when I use them the right way, they support each other.
So if you overload one versus the other for too long a period of time is when it leads to burnout for you.
And when I try to be the supporter, right? I lead by inspiration and motivation. I try to be the one supporting everyone else. And I try to be the person with all the systems and all the structure and all of that, right? It's not my stuff. It's not what I do. And I tried really hard.
Right.
And I got exhausted.
Did you feel like you did those things because that's what you should, quote unquote, do?
Yeah, that was society, upbringing, everything I learned, right? Be the salt of the earth. Help everyone else. Make sure everyone is comfortable. And I think for so many of us, especially women, but even some men, right? We are so indoctrinated to play out those roles that are socially acceptable. And if that's not the energy that we have, then it's just exhausting. And it's one of the biggest lies we tell our children, right? You can be anything you want to be. Yeah, but if it's not aligned with who you are, it won't work out.
It won't be sustainable.
No.
Okay. So we had the breakdown.
Yay.
We put ourselves back together in a new way.
Yeah.
What were the biggest changes?
So the big
old
changes,
Monica to new Monica.
yeah. So biggest changes were like I had anxiety, social phobias, panic attacks. I had allergies and eczema and rashes and all like chronic pain. And those were all emotions, right? Trying to come out. And I couldn't let them come out. So they came out as physical and mental symptoms instead, right? So the biggest change for me was that I had so much more energy when I was using my energy the way my energy body was designed to use its energy, right? So I had way more energy. My husband says it's so much more fun to be married to you these days.
Because you're doing what you love, which is aligned with your energy. Therefore, you're able to sustain it and enjoy it.
Yeah. And now I have, just like me, like all the coaches you hire to help you. And I have had so many coaches tell me, you should get people organized. And I'm like, no, that's not what I do.
Yes.
Yeah. I inspire, I motivate. I do not organize things or people.
Perfect. So Monica, how long have you been self-employed now? And how is what you're doing now kind of just an evolution of what you're doing now, we're doing then, or has it evolved even further?
So I started coaching 15 years ago when I saw the effects on my health, emotionally, mentally, physically of the work that I had done, right? Mm-hmm. Then I had this, wow, imagine when people get this. They will start throwing money at me. Yay, right?
I will build it and they will come.
Yeah. And of course, that did not happen. And then I realized I had huge blocks to earning and charging and being seen and stepping up. So I had to use the same methods and use the same tools that I had for my health and use those for my money blocks. And that's when I discovered that inner game, that it's not about when we say mindset, we think of the whole thing, right? Mm-hmm. But until 20, 30 years ago, we only had access to the cognitive mind and working with the cognitive and conscious mind.
Yes.
And 85% of all decision making every day on average is based on the subconscious.
It's that iceberg image that you see sometimes, that your conscious mind is that small piece above the water, and then there's this huge piece down below that can sink you like the Titanic if you're not careful.
Yeah. And some people, like if they grow up with parents that are entrepreneurs and they have a healthy money mindset and they know how to deal with money and finances, those people can flourish. Most of us have like really bad programming around money, finances, wealth, what we deserve. And it's all back, like when we talk about procrastination and self-sabotage as well. Self-sabotage and procrastination happens by default whenever you step up, right? But the issue is not what's going to happen. The real issue is the echo from the past. What happened once, back when? Mm-hmm. So instead of working with, a fear of public speaking, that's probably something that, maybe happened something in the fourth grade. You did something in front of the class and everyone laughed and the teacher said something really stupid. Yep. And now when you're 35 and you need to stand in front of an audience, it's not what's going to happen. It's your subconscious going, we did that once.
It's trying to protect you.
Yes.
So that's fascinating, because I believe so much of the inner game around money does affect a lot of things. And I have 3 questions I ask when I'm onboarding new clients, around what did their parents do with money that they want to copy? What is something their parents did that they never want to do? And it makes for such robust conversation. And you can almost see light bulbs going on in their heads going, oh my gosh, that's why I do XYZ. You must find the same in your work.
It's why my group program, the Inner Game of Money, we always start with going back to childhood. What happened? And we use visualization because very often there's no cognitive memory.
Right.
So we have to allow imagination to just paint a picture. And when people see that picture, and then I bring them back and I ask, so do you see any similarities, any parallels with what was happening back then and your finances now? And they go, whoa, right? Because they're playing it out all over again.
So that's fascinating, because here we are, so much of our success for a lot of entrepreneurs, if I'm hearing you correctly, is actually patterned on things that we can't even recall.
Yeah. And it's not even, some of it is even generational, right? We know from the Vietnam veterans back in the 70s that PTSD travels 3 generations.
Really?
Yes. We now have new science indicating 7 generations.
Are you able to shift that? Is that possible to shift it?
Yeah, it is. It is.
How would we do that?
So we would use the physical sensations that come up, or we can create a vivid imagination of something, right? Or we can backtrack history. Very often we know, right, that Big Depression, right? My grandfather, my great-grandfather experienced this or that. Okay, let's do work on that. And that's why I love energy psychology. My favorite tool is tapping, because we get access to the nervous system, the lower part of the nervous system, the subconscious or the unconscious, and we can rewire. And it's really easy to do, and it doesn't take long.
Okay, well, I love that. I'm just looking at a quote you have on your website and on your material. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate.
Yes, that's young.
So when we look at all of this, what we're talking about again at that is taking these, I sometimes think of it as like Intel inside, we know all our computers have Intel inside and it's making everything run, but we don't see it. It just makes it happen.
Yeah.
And I think our subconscious has all these patterns and things that are affecting our money. And, when I see somebody, we've put the perfect plan together, they work it, and they're just this close to achieving all their goals, they do something that puts them back to the start again.
Yeah. And, that programming, that Intel is there for a very good reason. It makes everything run more smoothly, right? Learning how to drive a car in the beginning is really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm using more of some different part of my brain to remember how to do it.
Yes. But then when your nervous system learns how to do everything, it just goes by default.
Yes.
Yes.
I kind of think it's a little bit like sometimes, how we end up at our house, we've driven home from work and we have no idea how we got there.
Yeah. And that's the rest of your life as well.
Right.
Your money, your job, your finances, your health, all of it, it's all run by default. And if your default is healthy, yay, congratulations, right? But if your default is wired the wrong way, if you have trauma, if you have programming
trauma, because I've been doing some reading and finding that there's some definitions of trauma that have kind of expanded what I think it is. What's your definition of trauma? Because I think we've had traumas and we don't even know it. So what are some of the traumas that you have identified?
So trauma is whenever an experience leaves an imprint in your nervous system.
So it could be good, it could be bad.
Yeah, what it's trauma, usually it's by definition, it's bad, right? Okay. So we talk about war trauma, right? Sexual abuse is a trauma. Those are the big traumas, right? that's not what I'm talking about in this. I say, if you've been in business for 6 months, you have financial trauma.
Right.
Because you set out, right? Like I said, oh, they're going to throw money at me. It's going to be amazing. And then things happen.
Longer than you expected.
And you go, zzz. So it's like a little, like a current that, like you get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do not work through that, because here's what's happening in nature, right? Animals, when they get traumatized, they shake it off. That, like, they literally shake it off.
Okay.
Civilized people and their pets, they just clench up.
Oh, wow. Is that why some pets need to be on anxiety medications?
Because they mimic our behavior.
Mm-hmm.
In nature, they would just shake it off and it's gone.
So they've actually unlearned a good response.
Yes. And so have we.
Okay.
You will see this with Indigenous people, that they will have very strong emotional reactions to death, and right, they will not limit themselves. In old times, you will read about back in old times, they would have more of a strong reaction, crying and screaming and all of that. They would release the emotions. We don't release the emotions. We hang on to them. We repress them. So think of depression, right? We press our emotions down, depress. So we're creating a cooker pressure. And sooner or later,
when you least want it.
And when you don't need it, right? Right before, as you said, you give your clients everything they need to succeed. And you give them your heart, you give them your soul, you bend over backwards and you say, finally, right? And then they go, and then there's this coach-coachee relationship, because we both have biases, right? So as the coach, we know this system actually works. If you would just do this, it will work.
Yeah.
The coachee goes, I feel so bad. This must be wrong for me. This is not aligned with me. I'm a free spirit. This is not how I do it. And clash, right?
Are you looking to boost your business value beyond just increasing profit? Introducing the Business Value Amplifier, a revolutionary 10-week program designed to help you uncover proven methods to enhance your company's worth. Discover how to transition from feeling unsure about maximizing your business value to becoming a savvy operator who deliberately and methodically pulls the levers of value building. With the Business Value Amplifier, you can expect to take control of your business's growth and be intentional about enhancing its value. Whether you're planning to sell or simply want a more vibrant, predictable, and lucrative operation, this program is for you. Don't miss out on this opportunity to amplify your business's value in just 10 weeks. Go to blackstarwealth.com/amplify and apply for the Business Value Amplifier today. That's blackstarwealth.com/amplify. Your business will thank you.
Monica, I'd love to get practical for a second. I'm an entrepreneur. What are some typical symptoms that how would knowing that I have some blocks manifest? What are some your top 2 or 3 things you've seen that go, oh man, you should probably deal with this?
Yeah. Are you where you want to be financially right now?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have, here's another one. We have entrepreneurs that they make the exact same of money year in and year out. The economy goes like this.
Yeah.
And they're always at the same level.
Okay.
Because that's where they're comfortable, right?
Do what they have to do, but they won't go past it.
Yes.
Because going past it will trigger something.
Yeah.
A response.
Yes.
That's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a third one we can look at? Is it procrastination?
Mm-hmm.
Is procrastination a symptom?
Yes.
What am I procrastinating about in particular? Is it my sales calls? Is it anything to do with building the business? Like, is it in a particular, area?
That depends. That all depends on what was hurtful for you, right? So for me, for instance, when I hired my first business coach, she wanted me to start doing cold calling. And I avoided it.
Yeah.
And I avoided it.
Yeah.
And I could always explain to her why I hadn't started making those calls. I had the best explanations in the world, right?
Yep.
And then it was like 2 months down the road or something. And she's, Monica, why aren't you making the calls? And this time she was not letting me off the hook. And she was challenging me and challenging me and challenging me. And I went into this full-blown anxiety attack.
Really?
And I understood, whoa, this has nothing to do with cold calling. And that's when this trauma from back when I was 2 kind of re-emerged to the surface, where I was in this really dangerous situation for using my voice.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So for me, calling these big corporations and say, this is what I can do, that reminded my subconscious about that time when I was 2 and I voiced something that was by relatives really, they were really provoked. And so I got physically attacked at the age of 2.
Wow.
So it, once again, it didn't have anything to do with what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But my subconscious was trying to keep me safe. Do not speak out too loud. Do not trigger anything. Sit still in the boat, right? This is risky. And that's why it doesn't make sense. So many business coaches go like, yeah, why do you procrastinate? Stop it. Just stop doing it, right?
Or start doing it, whatever, right? But
Yeah.
Here's the point I want to take away, or I think that hasn't been said, but to actually find out that it happened to you at whatever age, I think you need a guide, because otherwise you're going to stop before you get to the real answer.
Yes. And that's why I have specialized in those money blocks and in the nervous system. So when I listen to people, I can hear where in the nervous system those blocks are.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we all have them.
Oh, for sure we do. Oh, wow. So Monica, I want to take so you have a course. It's a 9-week course just to help with this. And what's that called? It's called the game of money. Is that correct? The inner game of money.
The inner game of money. Yeah. So the thing with this is that my clients need to have a business coach as we do this program.
Yeah.
Because they need to go hand in hand. So I can't take someone, like I can't have a Facebook ad and get leads and get them into my program, because the people that come into the program, then if they don't have a guide with the how to,
the tacticals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then we will be doing all of this trauma work, and it's amazing, right? But there are action steps you need to take.
Mm-hmm.
So for this program, I need people to be with someone who is a business coach that can hold them in their hand and say, now you do this and now you do that. And then people get triggered and I can deal with the triggers. So they go hand in hand. And this is, for me, this is one of the big, like missing links in business coaching. And I know that some of the big gurus that have these, $1 million launches and they're seen all over the internet, the elephant in the room is that the success rate of people getting to the big promise that they're opting in for is less than 10%.
So what you're saying is by combining the inner game work and the practical, you can change that percent way higher.
Yeah. So that's why I do what I do, because the collateral damage in business coaching, right? Business coaching in the US alone is a plus $14 billion industry. And we have all of these people that have like amazing knowledge. They have systems. They know how to do things, right? And they have to sift through this ocean of small entrepreneurs to find the krill that will actually succeed. And that's what I want to, we cannot allow this to happen. Too many people are being hurt in the process.
And not getting the returns that they deserve and need.
And not getting out to their people.
Yeah.
That have amazing knowledge. They can change lives. They can revolutionize industries. They can change the world. And they are caught in this cycle of self-sabotage and procrastination. And then their coach tells them, why didn't you just do it? Come on, get yourself up from the floor and just do it. What I'm telling you, right? As if the self-blame and the shame isn't big enough already.
Fascinating. We'll put a link to the program in the show notes, Monica, because I think people should definitely check it out. Before I close off and everything, I want to talk a little bit about networking, because you and I met in an online situation. And I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs are starting to default to the old ways before the pandemic of, for lack of a better word, shaking hands and kissing babies, right? So if we were to look at it, what has made you successful, or what tactics have you employed to increase your risk? I'm sorry, not risk, but your reach globally.
Yeah. So I decided right before the pandemic hit, I have done enough in Sweden. I want to go international. Right. And I didn't quite know how to do that. And then everything closed down and everyone went online. And I was terrified in the beginning, having to speak English and going into these big rooms with tons and tons of people and, American people, and they're loud. And but now I love it because I can reach people. I can find the thought leaders, the people that already have the programs, that have the how-to and the execution.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for the people that lead, because those are the people I want to get to so that I can offer my stuff. And I, together create that synergy effect so that more people can become successful.
I love it, Monica. I love it. And I love that you've embraced and gone global. I love the fact that you're in Sweden and I'm in Nova Scotia, Canada, and we're having this great conversation. How do people reach out and get in touch with you if they would like to do any work with you?
Yeah, LinkedIn is the best way to get a hold of me. To get into the inner game of money, you need to be in a program with one of my partners. Yeah. Because, it's not responsible of me to say, yay, I can heal your money blocks. Because there's execution, there are things to be, it goes hand in hand. So you can't just buy that course. You have to have a business coach.
And what's great, Monica, is that you and I are exploring how I can potentially be one of those coaches to add this into my offerings.
Yeah.
So Monica, is there a question I haven't asked that we should answer before we sign off?
No, I'm just so grateful that we met in one of those Zoom rooms. And there's so much that can be done now with the knowledge that we have.
Yes.
And there are so many people just waiting to bring their genius and their greatness and the healing that they offer into the world. And let's just help them.
Monica, that's beautiful. So to wrap up, I think the real bottom line here today is that the inner game of money is not only the inner game, but it's the tactics, and they need to be married for true results. Thank you so much for your time today, Monica. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to The Real Bottom Line. This show is produced by Black Star Wealth. Executive producer, Wendy Brookhouse. To learn more about the show or to contact us, go to blackstarwealth.com.